nice HX55 that I did an upgrade and a rebuild, and we also did the T51R mod on it. So I'm just going to show you up close what this looks like. I think it turned out really nice. Here's a comparison of the HX55 to a KO3 or KO4. So I just gotta flare this out right here and I'll be done with it. This compressor housing is not polished. It's actually either paint or powder coat or something along those lines. It's really a neat finish. The T51R, if you're not familiar with what that is this inlet in here. This is the flow port that runs over to the middle of the housing where there's an that's the anti-surge groove is. And you also have these extrusions that run out to the other end of the housing, which make it whistle really loud. When I did the build, I went ahead and just upgraded the compressor wheel. The guy sent me a compressor wheel to machine it to. So the compressor wheel was like 65 millimeter, and we upgraded it to a 67 millimeter compressor wheel. Exducer I think runs around 100 or it runs around 100 millimeter. So this is a really big turbo. Now the 67 Holsets we do is the same size on the inducer, and it runs to 89 millimeter. So you could have about the same flow of the compressor side with the HX40 model and not have this size of a turbo that will take up so much space and probably be harder to spool. This turbo, I machined the compressor housing for an O-ring. It didn't have one before. I don't see how it could possibly seal without that, because it's really loose in between the bearing housing and this compressor housing. There's probably about 4 or 5 thousandths of movement there, which can cause air to leak out of it. So I got that all sealed up, so this thing should spool up a lot faster now. This turbo has a really big turbine in it too. It's got that V-band clamp here that holds that together, the bearing housing to the compressor housing. The compressor housing is aluminum and the bearing housing is cast iron. Here's the turbine housing too. It's a T4 twin scroll. This turbine wheel is 72 millimeter on the smallest point by 84 millimeter on the largest point. So if you were to classify this turbo, it's now a 6772. This is a little KO3 over here. I have people that ask me about doing a smaller compressor wheel on these turbos because they think it won't spool up fast enough. Yet I have people that run something that is this big, and he still wants me to figure out how to spool this turbo up. So I gave a couple tips on that. If you haven't seen that video, I've actually featured this turbo on it. It was called How to Make Your Turbo Spool Up Faster, or something along those lines. The finish turned out absolutely amazing. To have a polish on polish, kind of like black on black, but it's polish on polish, with the polished inlet, polished outlet, and the polished outside of the compressor housing. It looks perfect. This is what it looks like completely assembled. It's got that T4 divided housing.